break it down, about to break it down. Time for changes now. Can you hear our voices?
Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. The entertainment age is here at last. Too many racing, but not enough gas. Marketing off a bill of fuels. It's not anymore when there are no rules. Yeah, and I'm just like any other guy. I try to stick a finger in the pie. Sometimes love it ain't enough. The crust is too thick, my gun is getting tired. And we just keep on doing what we do. No time for me, I got no time for you. You better get with it, or you will never get this. So, la 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 la. All I really gotta say to you, you get treated the way you do. So when I'm old and lonely, you'll be old and better. I'll see you later.
B, Nas, and AZ, they was major. This is classic, I ain't think about the paper. Too much money in the majors. I'm too humble, I just wanna make classics. Have a cold following that rivals all the masses. I don't wanna be Ye. He lost himself, sold his soul, fuck the wealth. Chicago needed him. Shy kids believed in him. What he do, he out there deceiving them. That nigga's a snake, a black man reppin' self-hate. Try to make America great. A house nigga is a house nigga. Guess that's what he about, nigga. If that's fame, I don't really need it. The industry got me heated. He wasn't great, I can't believe it.
Don't say I can't have it, 'cause that just makes me want it more. Number one status. I gotta do good every time before. Don't be mad at me when I get it. You gon' be mad at me when I get it done.
Yeah,
Don't be mad.
Rock Cam, Daddy Kane, LL, rock bells, memorized verses early on, this shit was worth it. Studied Wu-Tang, Raekwon's flow was perfect, but Ghost was a favorite. You can hear it in my voice, love Mobb Deep, fan of the Beastie Boys. Those cats was mad wow, to live Kweli, most deaf rocking crowds, dreaming of that dream life. That's why he made the beat, yo, it seems right. This lifestyle seemed perfect, so I got to working. Pen and a pad, flip my style, write a verse a while. Classy flow, I write my shit down in cursive now. Try to take the curses out, but that ain't working out. Promote the track so they can shoot it down. Figure what I'm doing now. I guess I'm too thought-provoking. Got me chilling on the beat, catch his hook, steady coasting.
Don't say I can't have it, 'cause that just makes me want it more. Number one status. I gotta do good every time before. Don't be mad at me when I get it. You gon' be mad at me when I get it done. Don't be mad.
Tupac, Biggie Smalls was the greatest until I heard Big L. I wish he could've made it. Couldn't survive being famous, or was his legacy lifestyle or the rich and dangerous? We'll never know. Digging in the crates, Fat Joe had a raw flow. Now he wanna make hits. I miss Flo Joe. I hate he on that Khaled shit. What happened, Cartagena? This a fan, not a diss. And this fan breed this shit. Deep cover on that punch shit. Fuck the sales. To me, Terror Squad run shit. Now it's time for me to make it, but the game ain't on the same shit. Now they rockin' purses and some makeup. Bars don't mean a thing. Half these cats will get ate up. So instead of rocking mics, I'm chilling at a job, just waiting on a pay stub.
'Cause that just makes me want it more. Number one status. I gotta do good every time before. Don't be mad at me when I get it. You gon' be mad at me when I get it done. Don't be mad.
There's a bad feeling outside my window. Let it in. It wants to sin. There's a gray spot of rain in the doorway. Let it go. It wants to know how yesterday could be so cruel. How I could sail on a ship of fools. I don't think I can, so I'm telling the wolves again. Save me from myself. Save me from this world. I don't think I can, so I'm telling the wolves again. Please take me instead. Please take me again. today. There's resentment carried by the demons. The price was paid. Regrets don't fade. How this morning exists so true. Fable the scars untold who knew. I don't think I can, so I'm telling the wolves again. Save me from myself. Save me from this world. I don't think I can,
frequency, then we're in pain. Let me dial into your mind, let our frequencies combine. We are all the same, show and see, then we're in pain. Let me dial into your mind, let our frequencies. We are all the same, show and see, then we're in pain. Let me dial into your mind, let our frequencies combine. We are all the same, show and see, then we're in pain. Let me dial into your mind, let our frequencies combine. 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 Frequencies
Everything is dark around me. I'm lost in the deep end, trying hard to swim, but I sink. Nowadays the shadows follow and I cannot get away from the hate, away from the pain, and everything in between. So I drink. Hey, I don't understand why they tossing me roses. The last thing I remember was calling your phone. Ay. Then I woke up in the pool of darkness. I've been talking to spirits, I wanna come home. Where were you when I needed you? Why did you have to let go? I'm sorry if I mistreated you. It made you feel so low. I'm dark and I'm cold, I'm terrified. This place ain't give me no peace of mind. Didn't even get to look in your eyes and say goodbye for a while. Ended it all. Place isn't home. Now I'm all alone. And what about myself in the darkness? And why did you let me pull it? Told me go ahead, do it. Acted like we were just bullshit. All along you were consuming my soul like you was Shang Tsung. And I don't know where you came from. Don't know where you came from. But I'm done, said I'm done. The darkness, it ate me alive. And I let it all take control. You all watched the bitch eat me alive. When I cried, you locked all your doors. I called for help, you ignored it. 2 a.m. in the morning, you silenced your phone. So how does it feel now I'm not coming home? Send me all the black roses, coins for the ride. It's so hard to stay alive when you dead inside. All that I wanted was some peace of mind, but this place ain't home, there's no peace inside. I said all that I wanted was some peace of mind, but this place ain't home, there's no peace inside. Cause everything is dark around me. I'm lost in the deep end, trying hard to swim, but I sink. And nowadays the shadows follow and I cannot get away.
Of
Peso best ever. Sunlight, I see it in the dark. We are not the same. Hard to film fiction when you're living life. That's why my music videos are hard to shoot on sight. These are not actors, this is not false. This is all journey, burning hell walls. There is no emotion, you must bury that. These dark times take its toll on this world map. Highway to heaven if you focus well. Highway to death, there's no stopping there. All share the same fate, all see the same place. I became obsessed, now the pressure gives me happy days. Okay, you're gonna give up, settle for the normal, put the mic up. I record my life, VA documentary, and just inspire most. I am for the people, I am music, hope, facts. I can never move in silence. My grind is the orange clouds rising, see the sun lighted dark. I see the sun lighted dark. I don't need connects, I need communities. Self-employed male, no immunity. There is no protection when your mind's a weapon. I live strictly off my talent, I was stacking blessings. Legacy chaser on the fast pace. The marathon God told us you take no breaks. Paranoid stress, still making moves. Misery and doubt, still you make the rules. Cold-hearted human, you have all reason. Your tunnel vision never ends, ain't no sky limit. In your darkest times, see your sunlight. Because your brightest times could bring a dark sight. Nothing's to be trusted, gotta move smart. Maybe blood in her veins, but some have no heart. Shut out Cincinnati in the prisons. They say I'm hot and I ain't have to catch a case to listen, man, it's real.
Like, you feel me? When you say it like, hey, so I'm like, I was just locked up like 2-3 months ago, and I'm talking to some guys from City Heights, and they like, yeah, you feel me? Peso, man, this nigga named Peso, that nigga hot, like, and I'm like, Peso, I didn't know.
This was in the jail?
This was in the jail, in the jail, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, all right, so when I get out here, it's crazy. I'm bringing my grandma in the store, and I meet you, I'm going right into you, like, shit.
You weren't so full of yourself, too bad you're only here looking for handouts. What's the point of talking up what you've done when it ain't shit? I've heard it all before, there's nothing I'm missing. It'd be nice to get a little distance. They say you know when you find the one, and you're not it. I can tell you I'll fail 100 times, but you won't get it. I can slam my door in your face 1,000 times, but you don't quit it. I'm not your band-aid, I'm not gonna patch you up when life is getting tough. I'm not gonna pick you up, I can't do everything. I'm not gonna dust you off when last night was so rough. How can you call this love? You're too broken for me. All of the details of my life the way it's always meant to be. While you try and clean yourself up, and it really shows how thankful I am for what you've done. All you did was go and teach me a lesson. You can't try to fix a person when they don't want help, but life goes on. I can tell you I'll fail 100 times, but you won't get it. I can slam my door in your face 1,000 times, but you don't quit it. I'm not your band-aid, I'm not gonna patch you up when life is getting tough. I'm not gonna pick you up, I can't do everything.
money and drop the hate. Stay out your feelings even when I tell you not today. I showed it up, lean on is not a spot for toxic waste. Try to brighten your day, you don't like the sight of the sun. Try to lift you up, but it's almost like you gotta be bummed. You suck the air out the room and you stop all the fun. You want honesty? Well, honestly, we're probably
I'm
done.
not your band-aid. I'm not gonna patch you up when life is getting tough. I'm not gonna big you up. I can't do everything. I'm not gonna dust you off when last night was so rough. How can you call this love? You're too broken for me. These smiles couldn't stop us. These tires spin all sore. These roads lead us somewhere. Makes me feel alone as we take this ride alone. Driving through the sights, you and me, living dreams tonight. Only in love will surrender. Sunsets, it pulls the curtains. Night falls and comes alive. The stars lead us somewhere. Makes me feel alone as we take this ride alone. Driving through the sights, you and me, living dreams tonight. Only in love will surrender. Can't us keep this home? Nothing feels like home. Can't us keep this home? Nothing feels like home. Coming back makes me feel alone as we take this ride alone. Driving through the sights, you and me, living dreams tonight. Only in love will surrender. Alone as we take this ride alone. Driving through the sights, you and me, living dreams tonight. Only in love will surrender.
The sun is up, it's a brand new day. So throw the thoughts and get out of my way. Stepping out in a mood that's cool. I do it every day if I could. You know I wish that I had something I could use. Some magic pill that would Can anybody help me through? You know, I wish that I had something I could use. Some magic pill that would go take away my blues. But I know the answer to my problem ain't so clear. So here again I stand and I stare in front of the mirror.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Uncovering the Underground Radio Podcast Show, brought to you by First Angel Media and Brutal Business Entertainment. As always, I am your host, Skippy Ickham, and I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. If you are tuning in live or streaming this after the fact, I ask that you click the like, share, and follow buttons on whatever platform that you're listening to us on, because the more that you do that, the more that it moves us up the podcast community rankings, and the more people that find out about the show, obviously. Also helps keep you in the loop with all brand new episodes that drop. Make sure you do check out all current episodes and past episodes as we bring on each and every week guests from all over the world of different types of art, from bands to rappers, models, authors, and everything in between. So make sure you listen to all the old episodes. There's something for absolutely everyone. We do normally bring you our episodes Thursday night each week, 8 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 8 to 9 is an uninterrupted underground music hour. 9 to 10:30, an hour and a half of in-depth topics and discussions with different underground personalities. And, tonight is a special episode. Sometimes we will bring you pre-recorded and also live special edition episodes on different days, different times. Tonight is one of those episodes. This is a live episode tonight on Wednesday. So thank you for tuning in, and make sure you hit the share button. We want to thank our sponsors, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel, and you can check them out at www.tattooedscumbag.com and use promo code BBE10 for 10% off your overall order. That will allow you to get 10% off of either a single item or the overall order, as I said, and they make everything from sweatshirts, beanies, t-shirts, sweatpants, socks, and everything in between. They make good quality gear. I wear it on stage when I'm performing. I wear it when I'm out and about doing everyday, errands and chores, and I wear it at home as well. So something in a company that I certainly believe in and support, and I hope that you guys will do the same. If you're a tattooed scumbag like me, you'll love it. I also want to thank Roush Designs, R3 Graphics, Legion Artworks, and 5 Milligram Artworks for all the work that they do for myself, for the radio shows, and for Brutal Business. We do want to thank our new partner, First Angel Media. If you didn't catch the show last night with Jana Lee Machika of First Angel, please go back and listen to that episode. That's where we announced that we are partnering up our two companies to produce Uncovering the Underground, which is the show you're listening to now. A lot of big things on the horizon, so make sure you're watching out for that. But we got to sit with her, talk with her about the starting of her company and how they've become so big in the media side of things. So it was great to be able to partner with her and also get to pick her brain a little bit. Tonight, we have a very interesting guest, and Brian Genovesi is a Pittsburgh underground, I wouldn't necessarily call him underground, but a Pittsburgh singer-songwriter that I've known for several years now. We first came across one another when his band played with my solo act, Skippy Ickham, and certainly been talking ever since then. He's branched off and started doing his own solo career, and it has been amazing ever since. So we want to bring him on the line and certainly pick his brain. But before we do, if you're looking for any updates on any of our radio shows, our events and shows, on the music side, modeling, wrestling, horror reviews, or anything in between that Brutal Business brings to you, you can check us out at www.teambrutalbusiness.com, and that'll give you absolutely all of the updates and everything that we're up to, because we certainly bring you a lot of different media. So teambrutalbusiness.com. Without further ado, I want to bring on my good friend and great artist, Brian. How you doing tonight, homie? How you doing?
Good, Skip. How are you, man? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. I was glad to get you on. We have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. I know that we got some big news of a album release coming up. You have a lot of new songs recently out, and you've been playing out quite a bit, I see. So lots of things to pick your brain on, and I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule tonight to come on and, shoot the shit with me a little bit.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. No problem.
So, I'm just going to jump right into it. With the Friday comes the release of a brand new album for you. Why don't you tell us about that album? Tell us what we can expect, the name of that album and where they can find it.
It's To Whom It May Concern is the name of the album. It's from Super Monkey Recording Company, and it was recorded at Tonic Recording Studios. It's available. I'm not releasing. Well, I'm having the release party on Friday night, so it'll be available at that show, and then every show after that, and it'll be available online at ilovesupermonkey.com/Brian Genovesi. You can order the CD. It's also available on all streaming platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, all of them.
There's so many to keep track of these days. It's like the show here, people are like, where's your radio show at? I'm like, I don't know, man, pick a site and listen, because there's just so many of them, I can't even keep track of them. And I think there's like 13 different sites that we're on with this show. So it's just more and more keep getting added on. But that's great to hear that you're putting out that album. How many tracks can we expect on that?
It's an EP. It's just 5 songs.
Okay.
And, I've written a lot more, so I'm hoping to be able to get this out there, get it into a lot of hands, and create some revenue so I can get back into the studio and do some of the new stuff. I'm real excited about the new stuff, too.
Well, you constantly are dropping new stuff. I mean, I'm constantly seeing you drop videos. That's the one thing, folks, if you do, follow Brian, or if you're soon to follow Brian, you need to go onto YouTube and search his, name, and you're going to find a lot of content out there of videos of him just sitting and playing, but the sound quality is amazing. For someone just sitting in front of a camera playing, it's very, very good, and you're going to fall in love with his music, as I have, and now I can look forward to the EP coming out on Friday. But I'm constantly pumping out music, and I guess my question would be, how do you keep yourself motivated to write as much as you do?
Oh, man, I don't know. I guess I don't really need motivation. I love to write. That's my favorite thing to do with music. I got notes in my phone, notes on pieces of cardboard. I got notes everywhere, and then when I'm in the house, I have the guitar in my hand, and it's just what I love to do.
Now, did you expect to become a solo artist? Did it start out that you were, and then you morphed into bands and then came back to a solo artist? Or was it something you started more with bands and then kind of from that separated yourself into a solo artist? How did that play out?
Well, I played in my first band when I was 12 years old and been playing in bands since. So I've been in, the first real band that I was in, we lasted all through the 90s. It was a long time, and I was kind of jaded by that. They were 2 really good friends, and we got along really well, and we played really well together. We loved being together. So for a whole decade, man, we just played out every chance we could all the time. And ever since that band kind of broke apart, everyone started growing up and having kids and getting married and, dropping off. I haven't been able to keep a very steady band. Every time I start making progress with something, and, there's some kind of falling out, or somebody moves away, or somebody quits, and then you start over, and you never really get anywhere. You just kept spinning your wheels. So that was kind of why I went on my own. The last band I was in fell apart, and I had been writing like crazy, and so I just started trying to find ways to play it on an acoustic guitar and try adding to it. And so it wasn't just my guitar parts. I tried teaching myself to add in a bass line or some kind of drum lick on a tempo on the body of the guitar just to give it a little more. So because the stuff I write isn't really necessarily acoustic music. It's rock and roll, and it's more upbeat than like John Denver or something. Like that's what I used to always think of when I think of acoustic guitar players, just guys singing around a campfire. But
yeah, you're definitely different than the normal, music you think of when you think of acoustic. But the thing is, it works for you very well. Is everything I always tell people, everything that happens to you in your life leads you up to where you are right now for certain reasons. And I think being in the different bands, having the path that you had in rock and roll, formed you into who you are as an artist. Now you chose to kind of divert from that normal path and go the acoustic route, but you carried with you the roots and the elements that you had from the rock and roll route, and now it's a blend of the two, which makes something very unique, and I love it. Like I said, your sound is very catchy. It sounds beautiful on the acoustic guitar, so sometimes people will try to play rock and roll on an acoustic guitar, and it doesn't work. You're listening to it and you're like, yeah, it just sounds like you're trying to play heavy music on an acoustic guitar. Yours, it actually, for someone that didn't know better, you would never know that originally might have been written on an electric guitar with a little bit of distortion to it. It transfers over very well.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. And I mean, like I said, I've been watching you for a little while, seeing the growth and seeing, all the different things you've been doing. Now, obviously, you said that you did transition, the way you were playing and writing over to acoustic. But prior to you really kind of coming out on your own solo side, were you playing much acoustic, or is that something you really picked up once you decided to kind of go out on your own?
Well, actually, I play at my church, and so I play an acoustic guitar there. But those are all just acoustic type of songs. But I had the acoustic guitar, I was playing it, and so it's not like it was the first time I ever picked up an acoustic. I just started paying more attention to it, and I just always feel like, I can't do enough on an acoustic guitar because my fingers aren't strong enough. The guitar's too big, and it's a lot different than playing an electric guitar.
It is. It takes some getting used to, that's for sure. I mean, like you said, the body's much bigger, so you have to be used to your arm not being by your side and being out a little bit. The strings are going to chew up your fingers a little bit more at first whenever you're playing. Sure. That's what most people don't understand when they switch over to an acoustic. Like, damn, do my fingers hurt, man? These strings are thicker. They're tearing me up. And
they don't bend. You can't fly through them like you can on a little 10-gauge string.
Yeah, you're not shredding on an acoustic unless you're like Yngwie Malmsteen or someone like that, So it's definitely some getting used to and things. But like I said, you've captured that very well. Do you have any plans of ever going back to a band, or do you think at this point you're kind of set on just staying on your own due to the fact that it's much easier than having to rely on a bunch of other people and starting over and over and over again?
Yeah, I'm kind of still at the point where I'm not ready to, form a band. I keep kicking around the idea of having a backing band, just a group of guys that, we get together for some shows, not every show, guys that already have other bands full time that could do it as a side project, and we could just go out and do, because there's been a lot of times, because as much as I try to build the acoustic guitar up, it's still just me and a guitar, and I go to these shows and sometimes I get sandwiched in between like a 5-piece band and a 7-piece band, and it feels like small at that point,
It does, but the thing is like I said, you have a very full sound, so I don't want to ever, have you think that you're not full in your own performance. It is, but I can understand where you're coming from, is if you're playing in between two very large bands and a lot of instruments, a lot of just...
Yeah, it's happened where I've had horn players and piano players, 2 guitar players, and then I get up on stage. Sound guys love me.
Yeah, you keep it easy for them for sure. But I mean, like I said, I think it still works out pretty good. But I can understand that passion of still wanting to be in a band. I mean, oftentimes I still sit back and I'm like, I should form a band again. I should go out and play the scene again on the band side. I miss it. It's been years. I loved it. I used to play a ton. And then I'm like, you know what, though, just as you had said, to try to get 4 or 5 minds on the same page, not only to write, but to get to practice with one another, to get to shows, to worry about the in and outs of everyone's personal lives and careers that they got going on. That usually kills it for me. And I'm like, nope, I'm glad to be a solo artist, because, at one point in time, I never would have thought I'd be a solo artist. I always thought that I would remain in bands forever. That's where I started. But my wife actually talked me into it after my band of many, many years broke up. She said, you should go out on your own and do your hip hop. And I was like, no one's ever going to take that serious. And God bless her, because I'll tell you what, it led to a really fruitful career in the music side, led to helping a lot of other artists out there that I wasn't able to do on the metal side. But looking back now, I oftentimes think about wanting to get in a band again, but yeah, it's just too hard with life. For your young kids, it's one thing, but as life tends to weigh on us, it certainly becomes a little bit harder.
Yeah, especially once you have kids.
Exactly. Once that's thrown in the mix, forget about it. It's usually a done deal. Now, one thing you said about that I wanted to kind of revert back to is you said that you do play the acoustic at your church, and I know that a lot of the videos that you're releasing on YouTube have you sitting in the church playing. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, it's just a beautiful room.
The sound's amazing. I mean, I think that really works for you as well. I think that makes a unique side and unique sound, because how often do you see someone sitting in a church after hours to themselves playing? You don't. And the acoustics in your video is just phenomenal.
Yeah, like I said, it's a beautiful room. You go in there at night, no one's around. It's just dead quiet, and you get that nice, clean, natural sound, but you get all that reverb out of the room.
I like it. Like I said, it is like you mentioned the perfect word. It's clean. It gives you that clean sound. I mean, that's just a sound that you can't get sitting in a bedroom or sitting in your basement or sitting in a room in your house. You don't get that feel or that sound out of it that you get from that room that you're in the church.
No, not by just putting a phone up. Like if you're running through a soundboard or something, and really working at it. But I can just walk in and sit down and just start playing.
Now,
I don't need to have any kind of amplifier or anything. Just like I said, that natural reverb in that room I love it.
Oh, it's great. And are you just recording with a phone when you do that, or are you hooking up equipment? How do you record your videos?
No, it's just my iPhone sitting on a little table.
Wow. Whenever you said that, I'm thinking, oh, wow, I never realized that must be what he's doing. I couldn't tell, because, I mean, it does sound so clean and so professional that's crazy that's just from a phone. So, yeah, that room is magic for you.
Yeah, and I like it simple. Like I said, I don't have to set anything up. I just can sit down, put my phone on the table, and play.
Well, you mentioned, going in between bands feeling like, wow, it's just me compared to these 5- and 7-piece bands. But that right there is the perfect reason, that being a solo artist is great, because you can just walk up, pull your guitar out of a case, sit down, and play. You don't have to worry about amps. You don't have to worry about foot pedals. None of it.
It's amazing. I don't even have to bring a cord.
That's great. No, I love it.
I literally just step up to the microphone and plug in my guitar and play, and that is huge. That's huge. I mean, for dragging equipment around for so many years, I take 2 guitars with me. When I play live, in case I have a problem.
And that's simple, and it's clean, and it's easy. And that's what I loved, is whenever I first started going out playing as my rap career, by myself, it was so weird the first couple times walking out on stage, and I'm not dragging a half stack with, a full head rack and 6-7 foot pedals, all my cords, all my guitars and stands. I just walked out, and they just handed me a mic, and they're like, here you go. And I'm like, well, this is weird. And then, I fell in love with it. I'm like, now I don't have to take anything. Now I do take a mic a lot of times, but I don't need to take anything with me. I just walk out on stage, hand them a USB drive, they plug it into the computer, and away I go. And I love it. I miss being in a band, but certainly love the aspect of the simplicity of it.
Yeah, and being solo also forces me to, perfect it more. It has to be perfect when you don't have drums and bass and stuff to hide mistakes and, kind of help along. And it's just you on stage. If there's a bad note, whether it's your voice or your guitar, it's, clearly you.
No, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, you can't hide behind your mistakes and know that the bass is, like you said, going to drown it out a little bit. The drums might hide it. It is just you and that guitar, and if you biff it, on stage and you make a major mistake, everyone's going to hear it. So you have to be on top of your game. You have to perfect it. You have to know that you're going to go out there with confidence that you're going to hit those chords the way that they need to be, that you're ready to play that song because there's no one helping you out other than yourself.
Right. And I'm finally getting used to that, like just being on stage by myself, because it was always hard for me to talk to a crowd. And even in a band with, other guys on stage, I just wanted to play my songs. I didn't really have anything to say in between, never knew what to say. I just kind of choked up and wanted to play my guitar and sing and not speak. So I'm trying to engage the crowd more. So the live shows have been getting better.
Well, it's funny how musicians can be like that. You hear someone, never met them in person, but you listen to them, say all your videos. Say someone becomes a devout fan, listens to all your YouTube videos, listens to your EP that's dropping on Friday. They fall in love with your music. They would never guess, okay, that guy might be shy when it comes to talking to the crowd, because they hear this strong voice that carries itself. They hear this strong, amazing, original music. And then, they meet you and they might say, okay, well, he is shy on stage, or he doesn't talk to the crowd a little bit. He just wants to kind of zone into his guitar. It's funny that way that works is we can really pour our souls into our music, but it doesn't always mean that that's how we are in real life. And you just have to kind of find what works for you. As I know some frontmen, they don't talk. There's been bands I've seen where they come out, they don't say a word. They play like 8 songs and maybe talk for 20 seconds the entire set, and then they're done and they walk off stage. Other people talk for 5 minutes in between each song, and just really got to find out what works for you. And I mean, over time, as a solo artist, you just got to kind of find that niche for yourself.
Yeah, and just by playing so much out, but I've been playing a lot of shows over the past year and a half. I'm getting more comfortable with it. It's getting better.
You've been busting your ass, man. I've been seeing you play everywhere. I mean, it's like every time I turn around, boom, there's another show that Brian's on, and I'm like, yeah, go him. Like, that's great to see. I love to see whenever people I enjoy listening to are out and really getting it and putting that work in. It just makes me proud as a fan to know that you're out there really pushing it, because I respect that. There's people out there that don't get out there and play. They never play or, no push their music, and then they wonder why they don't get bigger. Live music is the key to everything. If you're not out playing live and playing in front of people, then what is the point?
Yeah, exactly. I did a little over 25 shows last year, and I'm planning to do more this year.
I bet you will, man. I think there's going to be a great future ahead of you, not only this year, but I think in the future. And even promoting the show ahead of time, you got a lot of love from different areas of the country of people messaging saying, "Oh, I love Brian's music. Oh, I know Brian, and I hope that he makes it. He's one that deserves it." And I agreed to the one comment before the show that absolutely, I want to see you make it as well, because I listen to a lot of different music, from death metal to acoustic to hip hop to everything in between. And honestly, and I like I said, I don't say it to float your boat, but as far as acoustics, original songwriting goes, you're one of the best that I've come across in a while. And like you said, it hasn't even been that long in the making that you've been a solo artist. So fast forward 5 years down the road, it's insane to think of the possibilities that you can have for yourself.
Well, thanks, man. It's been a little over a year. I haven't been in a band for a while, but I just started trying over the past year. I got hooked up with Super Monkey Recording Company they were running a songwriter contest for bands, and I entered, and I was, it was another one of those situations where I was the only solo acoustic act and against a bunch of bands. And so I didn't really think I had much of a chance, but I ended up winning it. And that was how I got the studio time at Tonic. And, Doug, the owner of Tonic and the engineer there he's just so good at what he does. And he gave me so much advice in the studio, because as long as I've been playing and all the basements and all the recordings that I've done have all been, amateur. This is the first time in an actual legit studio. I mean, I got to sing through a $10,000 microphone for this album.
It feels nice, doesn't it, when you go in and you're in a legit studio? Because I've recorded in legit studios and I've recorded in a mic in a closet. So I've got to see both ends of the spectrum over the years, and it's always nice to go into a really nice studio. It's funny, it actually flip-flopped for me starting out, not with the band, but on the hip-hop side. I started out in the nicest studio that I've personally ever been in. Nowadays, I usually just am in a home studio, and it's funny. I get just as good a sound. I feel for my type of music. If I was a band, it would be completely different, or if I was playing guitar, it'd be different. But I kind of reversed it. Usually, you start out kind of on the smaller side, and you get bigger as time goes on. I started out right from the get-go at like this amazing studio, and then kind of now I've downsized it a little bit. But there's nothing like the feeling of going into a professional studio, professional sound rooms, and you're on this equipment that costs more than everything you own musically, and you're like, okay. You're like, hell yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, and then getting to, you hear, because I was the same way, man. I thought I could get just to clean the sound. I mean, I was always of the mind that I'm recording digitally through my computer, and, I'm getting completely clean signal. Everything sounds good, and then you just hear the difference, especially in the quality. Like all the guitar work we did, I mean, I doubled every part. I doubled for the left side, and then I doubled for the right side, and then I did it with another guitar, same thing, 2 on the left, 2 on the right.
Okay, so that makes it thick.
Oh my God, yeah, like the album came out great. Like I said, Doug is just amazing at what he does, and I was very intimidated going in there, and one thing that I never was a fan of is playing to a click track. When I was in bands, we just always made the drummer record to the click track, and then I just play it. I would have the drums going in my headphones. I never had to actually play to like a metronome sound.
Yeah, it's tough whenever you're not used to it. I know that's kind of the same thing. We always made our drummer in our death metal band play to the click track, and we didn't have to worry about that and things when we were recording ourselves. And then we went to the studio at one point, and he's like, all right, I need you guys to play to the click track here. And we're all, like, me and my other guitar player, looking at each other like, uh-oh. And they're putting it on, and we kept trying to play, and we're butchering it, and he's looking at us like, what's going on, guys? Why are you having such trouble playing to the click track? I'm like, listen, man, our drummer plays to the click track, to the metronome. I'm like, and we play off the drummer. I'm like, so... this is going to take us a little bit, but we end up catching it. We got it, and it turned out phenomenal. But yeah, the first time around that they threw a metronome on in my headphones, and they're like, I need you to play to that. I'm like, uh-oh, this isn't going to work out very good.
Well, like I said, not only did I have to play to the click track, but I played, like, we did it in stereo. So I did 2 tracks on the left and 2 tracks on the right, and then you have to play all the tracks, like, identical. Yeah. Not only to the click, but, like, you want the same exact picking pattern and the same fingerings on everything so that it sounds like one.
Yeah, because if you even miss a single up pick compared to a downstroke, it could sound different, and you hear the 2 differences in the track.
It starts to sound, and then when you put them all together, it starts to sound muddy.
Yep, exactly. Floppy. So you have to make sure really it's identical.
Tight. Yeah, and so I practiced my ass off for a month before going into the studio. So we got it done pretty quickly.
Well, that's amazing, and I think we're definitely going to jump into a song here in a second. Now, I wanted to ask you, how much time do you put into your playing a week, would you say? If you had to give me an estimate of how much you play a week, what would you say?
Oh man, I play every day. I play every single day for as long as I can, at least a couple hours, I'd say, every day.
That's awesome, and it shows in your music, and I think that people are about to find out when they listen to it. We have 3 different songs off of the upcoming EP that we're going to drop tonight during the show. Which would you prefer for us to drop first?
I guess the title track, To Whom It May Concern.
And why don't you tell us real quick, kind of an interlude into that track, what it's about, and then we'll go ahead and drop it.
It's really just, the whole album itself is kind of like it was all about, you write what you're going through. You write how you feel. So at that time I was going through a separation and fairly down and trying to figure things out. So the whole album, kind of in progression that it goes, is, so it's about regret. It's a song about regret, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Okay, well, let's hear it, and let's let the folks hear it. This is To Whom It May Concern by Brian Genovesi. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground.
I love the way
tired and it's scared to death that I'll let you down again. I never wanted to be this devil, and I never wanted you to know. So the only way I can save you now is to simply watch you go. 'Cause hopes and dreams are acts of the desperate, the ones that don't accept their brokenness. But being broken can be beautiful if you find solace in your hopelessness. I can't do this anymore. I have to find myself, find my flaws, a propensity to live with what was. It's just what my heart does. So I wish I could sleep away these days and wake up to the phantoms in the dweller. Then we could dance down here in my mind cellar, 'cause I wanna hold her close when I tell her I wanna be enough, and I want to be better. To whom it may concern, would you please read my letter? To whom it may concern, if I covered all my scars in skin, covered over who I've been, would that change the man within? To whom it may concern, I don't like when they look at me, 'cause I'm afraid of what they'll see, and eventually they'll leave. To whom it may concern, I understand just why they do. After what I put them through, I wish I could leave me too. To whom it may concern, 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 to whom it may concern.
And we are back on Uncovering the Underground Radio Show. I'm your host, Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment, and that was Brian Genovesi, To Whom It May Concern, the title track off of his EP dropping this Friday. And if you don't know the reason, why I think this dude's music is absolutely amazing, then now you do, because you just heard it. That's an amazing track, and everything he sent us to play tonight is certainly amazing. So hopefully you guys liked it. If you do, please hit him up and purchase that EP. The money that goes from you to him for that EP helps him continue to do what he does, continue to play, continue to pour it into new songs, more recording, and everything that follows thereafter. So please help him out as an artist, support him, make sure you search him on YouTube and watch all of his YouTube videos, because there is just a slew of awesome videos on there, and make sure you give him a like on Facebook as well. But Brian, absolutely amazing song.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
So you said that was about regret and, obviously some pain and some loss throughout that, and that's kind of what comprises the EP. Did you say it was a 5-song EP?
Yes,
Okay.
5 songs.
5-song EP, okay. Wanted to make sure. I couldn't remember if you said 5 or 7, and I just didn't want to misspeak. So 5 songs, and that was one of the 5, and that right there speaks for itself. I mean, that's a strong song, so I think the fans are really going to like that. Now, obviously, you are releasing that on Friday. Where is that show going to be at?
It's at Howler's. It's in Bloomfield in Pittsburgh, right off the Bloomfield Bridge.
Okay, yeah, Howler's is a great event, or a great venue. I love that venue.
Yeah, cool place, plenty of parking. There's no cover for the show. I decided I didn't want to charge anybody for coming because most of the shows I've been doing, I'm opening for somebody or it's, somebody else's show, so there's always a cover or tickets to be sold, and I just didn't want to have to go through that, and I wanted to show appreciation for everybody that comes. So I just wanted to do it for free.
No, that's awesome. That's the way to do it. We've actually been pondering on the idea, and I'll have to get back to you with more details on that. Actually was talking about it earlier. A fan of mine who's associated with one of the members on my label, she supports the group. She's the mother of one of the artists, but she's very involved in this, in everything that we do at Brutal Business. And she had reached out to me, and she works at a bar in Pennsylvania, but the town she said, I couldn't begin to tell you. She lives out like towards Erie, and she was asking about Brutal Business possibly wanting to throw an all-acoustic show, because we do all kinds of different things. We throw hip-hop, death metal, rock, and everything in between. We are actually throwing an R&B show coming up, and we're talking about throwing an all-acoustic set and bringing about 5 or 6 different acoustic guitar players, all very different from one another, to play. So once that comes together, I'll have to let you know on that, see if you're interested, and we can work out some details, but we would love to have you.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested.
We have a comment coming in. That is fresh. I am digging this. Thank you, AJ, for checking that out. It's definitely a fresh track, and there's more to come, so make sure you stick around and check that out. Also, a comment from a Donna saying, "You are amazing, Brian. So incredibly proud of you." And as everyone should be, Donna, this is obviously a very talented artist, like I said. So, if you are listening out there, please know that you can listen to us anywhere that podcasting is aired. So iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, you name it, we're on it. But please know that if you want to comment during the show and interact more one-on-one with us during the show, if you go to Spreaker.com or through the Spreaker app, which is the company we host our show through, you can actually comment, leave feedback, and ask our guests each and every episode questions that I'll read off to them, or read off your comments as you just heard. And that is Spreaker, Spreaker. And you can go ahead and tune in and leave us comments, like I said. So thank you for those that are doing so right now. Anybody else that wants to do so, jump over. We don't care where you listen to us from, but unfortunately, this is the only way that you can leave us comments live during the air. All right, so, obviously the show coming up Friday, some plans for playing quite a bit this year. You said you played, over 25 shows last year, and that was your first year of really coming out as a solo artist. So, that's very impressive, everything you've been able to do in only, a little over a year as far as playing solo and playing out. So I think 2020 is going to be a big year for you. Do you have any other plans in the mix that everybody should be watching out for?
No, just keep an eye out for the live performances. I'm trying to book some things out of the state for the summertime. I'd like to, at least go regional to start playing some out-of-town shows. So any of my friends from out of town, if I show up, come to the show.
Yeah, let them come out to your area. Find them a venue near you that you would love to have Brian out there and play. Send him the info. Send them his info. That's the thing is folks, you help more than you know by doing very small things. If you're in another town that plays, has solo artists, has acoustic guitar players come out and sing and play, and I'm not talking open mic night, I'm talking serious shows, and you know that they would like to have a talent like Brian come, please reach out to the venue, reach out to Brian. People don't realize that you yourself can do a lot more than you realize. I tell people all the time, a small message or a small email, or even sending me contact information to a venue somewhere that I'm trying to go, might be a venue that I never heard of, but end up finding out that they have shows every single weekend. I message them, and next thing you know, boom, I'm in your town playing. So it helps whenever you can help an artist out. So please feel free to reach into your heart and do a little bit of extra pushing for anyone out there doing something that you enjoy. Now, I wanted to ask, what do you find is the hardest trial against you right now as a one-piece solo artist compared to the band? What are you finding is the one thing that you're up against that you need to overcome?
Well, like I said before, it pretty much being up there by myself, being everything's on me. There's definitely comfort when you got 2 or 3 friends on stage with you. So if things are going bad, it's not just you. If things are going good, it's, something to share.
So it's just really just being able to 100% know that you got it without having to worry about anybody else behind you because it is fully against you. So it's just the nerve-wrackingness of making sure every note is 100% is your biggest thing that you're have against you.
Yeah, and also it's writing, because like I said, I love to write, so I'm constantly writing. So when I was in a band, I was constantly bringing songs in or at least ideas, and then we would work together on them and come up with final ideas and bounce things off each other. And I don't have anyone to bounce that stuff off of. I'm like, is this cool? Does this sound like something else? Or, so I just kind of rely on it. And I've gotten to the point now where it's like, if I like it, then I like it, and that should be enough. I shouldn't need anybody else's, go ahead or approval.
No, and you just said it right there, and that's a step I think any serious artist has to overcome, because I know whenever I first started out on my side of things, I thought of that too. Like, I don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of. What do I do? I mean, I have no one to talk to about this, and I would worry about those things. But eventually I reached a point where I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to write what I like. If I like it and I think it's a good track, I'm going to put it out. And you know what? If every single person that hears it hates it, that's okay, because I enjoyed what I put out and what I had finished, and that's how I know it's a good track, even if you don't like it. Whereas before, I would I'd still write what's true from the heart, but I would always be concerned with what others would think, like how are they going to perceive this song? And then I stopped caring, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do me 100%, and they're either going to like it or not. And I think once you reach that peak, that's when the best writing comes out, because now you take that weight of stress and worry off you, and now you're free to 100% give it your all.
Right, and that's where I'm at too. Like there's been times where I've written things like I grew up, playing punk and metal in bands. Like that was what I played all the time, and then I got into like Frank Zappa and started getting into real technical playing. Like everything had to be real technical. It had to be real, hard to play. It had to be impressive. And I was more concerned about the challenge of it than the actual sound of the song, and just stripped it all the way back down to being as simple as possible. Just having something that makes me want to, nod my head or tap my foot. And I take it from there.
Well, simple's good. That's one thing my wife would tell me over and over and over again, and I always had a hard time absorbing that. I'm like, no, I don't like that, because she would say, I'd be like, I don't understand why this one person's blowing up so much. I'm like, their stuff is so basic. And here I am writing. It's so average. Yeah, everybody's playing. I'm going so hard on the technicality of my writing with the rap side and patterns, and she's like, honey, simple is good. People like simple. They're like, it resonates with them, it sticks with them. She's like, I understand you want to be the most technical out there, and you want to be lyrical, and you want to be this and that. She's like, but sometimes you can still be that, but sometimes you have to take a step back and take parts and make them simpler than you would have, because that'll be the parts that stick with them, even though you wouldn't think that would be the case. So I started taking that into consideration and kind of threw that in the pot and mixed it around whenever I was writing. And, I noticed that she's 100% right, and I think that's it, is you have to go back to the basics. It's great to be technical. It's great to have that pizzazz and be showy and a showsman and all that, but you know what? You always have to go back to the basics and keep it and sometimes simple, just straightforward and simple, because that'll resonate more than you realize.
No, I agree. And I used to have this conversation all the time, with people in my bands. I mean, the only people that really get impressed by the very technical music that you write are other musicians.
Exactly. That's 100% true.
And the mass majority aren't musicians. And it's not even all the musicians that care about the technicality of everything. So you're really playing for the minority if you're just worrying about being very technical.
That's true. No, that's true. Words haven't been spoken. I mean, you're playing very technical, crazy stuff. Most of the crowd could care less if you were doing that or playing 3 chords. As long as it sounds cool, they like it. Whereas you will have the musician in the back of the room saying, "Oh yeah, like that was awesome." But you know what? They're the few. So I mean, if you're just doing that, you're getting 3 people out of the room compared to the 300 in a room. So it's just a different way of thinking. You got to kind of reprogram yourself. And that brings me into a question I wanted to ask you. When it comes to writing, how is your writing process? Because everybody writes completely different. Do you write the guitar parts and then the lyrics? Do you write the lyrics and then the guitar parts? Are you someone that kind of keeps the lyrics in your head and sings over top of them? Or I know you said you have a lot of scrap paper, so I'm guessing you're jotting down ideas everywhere. I mean, I'm just kind of wondering how does the writing process of Brian Genovesi work?
Yeah, like I said, it's real weird. I've gotten to the point now where I don't try to force anything. Like if I'm writing a song and I have a good hook, or I have a verse and a chorus, but I know it needs more, it needs a change, I don't sit there and just keep plugging away until something works. Like if it doesn't just come, I put it on the back burner, and then I would just keep playing it and come back to it, and eventually something that I really like comes out of it.
Okay.
That's the way everything's been going for me. And I write lyrics constantly. I'm always writing lyrics. And same with my guitar. Like I pick up my guitar every single day when I come home from work and I play it. And a lot of times just something cool comes out and I'll record it. So I have, 500 voice memos of just random guitar parts. And then sometimes when I get stuck, I'll go back and listen to some of them and be like, hey, you know what? Something like this would work in this. And so I don't have a process where I write a guitar part and then put lyrics to it. Okay. I have lyrics written out or ideas written out, and then I have guitar parts that that'll really stick with me, and I'll keep playing them, and then eventually I put them together.
No, it makes sense. Is sometimes you write them hand in hand, guitar and lyrics and guitar, and sometimes you have to find fragments of other things that you've made in the past that just happen to fit perfectly. And I do that with lyrics, all the time, where I'm writing a part in a song and I come to a writer's block and I'm like, I have no idea what to do here. No matter how hard I think, I can't find anything. And then I'll go back through and look at past lyrics and things, and I'll be like, oh, there's 6 bars that I made 2 years ago that was never anything. And I'm like, oh my God, it fits perfectly. And then I put it with it and I'm like, it's almost like it was meant to be. Sometimes you have to go to other fragments of things that never were anything to finish what you're working on. And as you said, it's a very important thing that I took from that is you can't rush it. I mean, you can't
force it.
You cannot force it.
Yeah, patience is something I work on, especially when it comes to music. Like I said, it used to get to a point where I'd be like, oh man, I love this hook and I love this verse. And then I would just, if I couldn't come up with anything else I liked, I would just make it verse, chorus, and call it a song.
Yeah.
Say, okay, it's done. And then always regret, be like, this is cool, but always knowing in my head, in my heart, that it needs something else to it.
And then once you release it, you're stuck on that too, because once you start playing it for the masses or you record it and then you feel that way, you say, I should have done something different. Well, now it's already out, so you really can't go back and redo it. So now it's set in stone, always being less than what it could have been.
Yeah, for sure. And like right now I'm in the process, I have 4 songs that I really like, and I'm kind of at that point with all 4 of them.
Okay.
And so every time I sit down, I play through all 4 of them and try to go into something. And, they've all developed a little bit more and a little bit more.
Well, and that's good because you can kind of change it though. So it depends on the type of music as well. Without a band, I think that's one thing you have going with you, because if you release it as a full 4 or 5 piece band, it's hard to really change it. Although jam bands do it all the time, so I can't say that. But as a solo artist, you can play that same song that people maybe have known for 2 years, and you add a completely different bridge to it at the end, sing a new part, and fans might be thrown off a little bit. But if anything, they're probably gonna be like, "Oh, that was pretty cool. He did like a remix of it." So you're not necessarily set in stone, but yeah, I was at a point one time where I would try to rush songs. I'm like, I need to get this done. And I see a lot of artists doing that now, where they're pumping out music quickly, but they're not pumping out what they could have been. And I see people say, especially in the hip hop side, they say, "Oh, well, I wrote 3 albums this year," and I'm like, that is ridiculous to me. I'm like, that's cool that you're like bragging that you put out that much content, but the thing is, I listen to the stuff and I'm like, you put out 3 albums of dumpster juice, like half mediocre music. If you would have just taken the time to write strongly, you would have put out 1 album, but it would have been 1 album of gold instead of 3 very mediocre albums.
Yeah, or 3 albums that have 2 good songs on them and the rest are okay.
And that happens a lot in my side of the genre of things, is people like brag about the quantity of what they put out. And I'm like, I would rather release 1 song this entire year and it be fire than release 15 songs and every one of them be like, yeah, that's okay.
Well, and that was like when I was in a band, we would be like that too. And we would put our sets together and I'd say, okay, well, we're going to do, 12 songs tonight. I'm a little shaky about this one. This one's okay. That one's okay. But you're playing them because you learned them as a band, and the band's going to play these songs tonight. I can pick whatever songs I want to play, however I'm feeling when I go.
And that's
to a
nice.
show.
That is a strong thing, a strong weapon to have.
Well, it definitely makes a difference in your performance too, because if you're playing a song that you're not feeling, how can you expect anybody else to feel it if you're not feeling it?
Well, and like you said, you never know what you're getting into either. You might walk into a room and have a complete idea of what you're going to play tonight, and then hear the performance before you that's something somewhat similar to you, not the same music, but someone is playing in the same light as you, and then it not get perceived well at all with the crowd, and then you're like, uh-oh, like, if I only had the arsenal of what I brought tonight, I'm in trouble. So you hurry up and reevaluate, you revamp it a little bit, come out and play something different, and the crowd love it. So you have to have that, on deck and in your arsenal, whereas a band, that's a lot harder to just step on stage and say, hey, guys, we need to completely scrap our set tonight and play something different.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's great to see that, you have that available to you. We've got some other people tuning into the chat, dropping all great things, so you're having a lot of love out there, which is great. Why don't we jump into another track? I think it's time to play a second track for these folks. We got Words and we got Till You Come Back to Me. Which one do you want to jump into?
Till You Come Back.
All right, we're going to play Till You Come Back to Me by Brian Genovesi. I can't talk tonight. And we'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground.
Sometimes I just can't breathe, but there's so much I want to say. Now I'm trying to bite my tongue so I won't bite you. I want to walk right up to you, cup your face in my hand, let your eyes burn into me so I know you are mine. I know that you're too good for me, and I don't deserve that smile, but you love me the same in spite of my way. But I see pain in your eyes, and I can tell that you're torn inside. I could taste my own blood when you said those words. Gentle kiss before you said goodbye. You wipe my tears but they'll never dry. So I'll be here till you come back just be here till you come back for me. Till you come back to me. Till you come back to me. All I have left is me. No one cares and it's plain to see. Without your light, I'm just alone in the dark. The pills don't even help me sleep, and whiskey makes me wanna fight. I thought the days were long, but it's worse at night. I die the death of 1,000 men. I feel the pain of all of them. They all cry when I sing for you. They all cry when I sing for you.
All right, folks, we are back on Uncovering the Underground Radio Podcast Show, and that was Till You Come Back to Me by Brian Genovesi. We have been kicking it with him for the last hour, and well, actually almost right around an hour at this point. So we've been kind of picking his brain on how he got started, how he transitioned from a band into a solo artist, his upcoming EP, 5-song EP, dropping on Friday that they're releasing at the show at Howlers in Bloomfield, Pennsylvania, here in Pittsburgh. So if you are in the area, please stop to the show. There's no cover charge. It is free to come listen to some great music, and you can pick up his EP and support a great artist. But another great song. So if you missed any of the show tonight, folks, if you're tuning in right now or in the last few minutes and say, well, damn, I really wish I would have caught more of that, don't fret. You can certainly do so after the show ends. It won't let you do it right now, but once the show ends, you can go back to the beginning, listen to it from start to finish, along with any of our other past episodes. So please make sure you do so. There's a lot of great talent on these shows. This is episode 43, so you got 42 other great underground artists or great artists in general that have been on the show, and there's a lot more to come. We have 11 episodes in January, so staying pretty busy on this end, but we've been able to, spend some time tonight with Brian talking over a lot of different things, and we're honored that he took some time out of his schedule to do so. But once again, buddy, that was an amazing track.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, are you planning, I know it's early stages, I don't want to rush you to another project, but you obviously are releasing the 5-song EP. Are you getting yourself mentally prepared for the next project?
Oh, I'm completely ready. I just need the money.
That's always the biggest thing. Is it's like, hey, I'm ready to do it. It's just the funding behind it. Because I'll tell you what, if you're not a musician out there, folks, it is expensive to record, to mix and master, to market and promote. If we all had a little bit more of the green stuff, we'd be releasing a little bit more music, I think, for all of us. So it's just hard to come by. Let's take a look and see if there's any more comments that have come in. I'm really tardy to the party today, but hello to everyone. Well, hello, Heather. Thank you for tuning into the show tonight. We have a comment that says that, awesome, Brian. And then it says, he has come so far on his own and has great vocals. And yes, he does. That's one of the strongest things. Your guitar playing is phenomenal too, but your voice carries. It gives a very strong presence. And I think that's what really stands out to me when I listen is it's confidence. I hear the confidence whenever you're playing. And that's an important thing for anybody to learn. Anybody can be a good singer if you practice and you have the skill to do so. But it sometimes doesn't mean you necessarily have the confidence in your voice, and you have that. And to have that such an early stage of your solo career is important. Now, obviously, that comes from years of playing in general, but I think that really, really is shining through in a lighter style music compared to the rock and roll. I think it gives more depth to your voice than the more of the distortion would give.
Well, thanks, first of all. And I do work a lot on my singing. I think what really helped with my singing, because when first of all, the very first time I started singing and playing was because it was really hard to find a singer that wanted to sing my words. Typically singers want to write their own things and write their own words. But I had songs that were written, and it was really hard for me to get somebody to sing my song. So I just started to try to do them, and I was not a great singer. I was not very good. As a matter of fact, the first time I played a show, I was only 12 years old, but the first time I played, the bar owner wasn't even going to let us play because I was so young. And I had to sit with the bouncer the whole time, the whole show, and wait until we performed. And then as soon as we performed, I had to leave. But they let me play because the band wouldn't have been able to play because I was the singer and the guitar player, just in bass and drums. And we got done, and the owner of the bar afterwards came up and said, "Hey, man, you guys were really good. You need a singer, though." So that was my first experience singing in front of people. I was told that we needed a singer.
It's like, hey, we like what you did, but you need to switch it up a little bit. But you know what? Look at you now. I think it worked out pretty good, and I think those are the moments that help build you into who you are. Like I said, though, I mean, if it wasn't for someone saying, "Hey, that wasn't any good, you need a singer," then you wouldn't say, "Well, damn, now I need to work to get better at this."
Yeah, and so then I did, because it was always about my guitar. I always loved playing the guitar, and when I was playing electric, that was my strong point. And then when I started again playing at church, I'm trying to sing these Christian performers, and some of them are just amazing, and a lot of them are women, and I was trying to sing these songs, and it's your voice is like any muscle, I guess. The more you work it out, the stronger it gets. The more you push it.
No, absolutely. If you train it and work it, you can do things with it you didn't realize you can do. It becomes stronger. It has muscle memory, too, so sometimes you don't even have to think about certain things that you couldn't do 6 months ago. Now you can not only do it, and you can do it on call without even having to really put concentration to it, so that's important. And, I mean, that brings me to a point. When you started really focusing on the guitar and vocals together, was it very challenging for you? Because I know some people have a hell of a time singing and playing together. They do it good, but they have a hard time doing it. And other people, they're like, "Oh, no, I can sing easily over top of playing. It's like I have two different brains going at the same time." How is it for you? Do you have to put a lot of concentration into the two of them, or do they flow naturally?
It's not natural. I have to work hard at it. And honestly, this is something I try to do. You asked me before about my writing technique. I rarely will ever just sit down and play my guitar and sing along to it. I'll always, record the guitar part and then come up with the melody by listening back to it over a tape.
Okay.
And then I teach myself to sing it and play it the way I want it to be. If I just would play along, every word would be on a downstroke. You know what I mean? It would be very...
And that's what happens a lot of times for people, is they're like, the only way I can concentrate is if I keep it on a downstroke. And I think it makes sense to play it, listen back to it, kind of work them separately, and then until they come to a point, and then they're together.
Yeah, so every song I write like that. And some of them, are easier than others, but there's some that, it takes me a really long time to be able to sing them and play them the way I want to sing them and the way I want to play them.
No, it makes sense. I mean, I listen to your stuff and I'm like, damn, I certainly couldn't do that. So, very impressive.
I don't want to limit myself to I don't want to limit my melodies to only fitting in with my picking pattern or whatever.
And you shouldn't, because that's what really defines the depth of an artist, is that you're not just doing something that anyone can do. You're not just doing it to a certain pattern over and over again. You're doing two separate things that each individually are impressive in their own instrument, your voice and your guitar, and then you bring them together for a whole, and it's very diverse, so that's awesome. I mean, like I said, that's, I hate to beat a dead horse, but very impressive.
Well, thanks.
Now, question I ask every artist that comes onto the show, the next two questions. First is, if you had to make a choice that you could put out one song that's an absolute hit, it resonates with everyone, it becomes a song that everyone knows, it lasts the test of time, people 20 years, 30 years from now are singing that song, it financially covers you and covers you with fame. So now you're famous, you are rich. It's a hit that no one will ever forget. But every other song that you write is pretty much garbage. No one likes it. You're always trying to live up to that one song, and you never can. No one cares about the rest of your music. Or you write hit after hit after hit, but no matter how hard you promote and push it, no one seems to feel that it's a hit. So you write these songs that you know are genius, but when you put them out, everybody's like, yeah, that's cool. Which would you pick if you had to pick between the two?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one at this point. But honestly, I don't expect my music to mean something to everybody, but I want it to mean everything to somebody, because it means everything to me. They're very real. Like I said, I grew up playing punk rock and metal, and my sound is very different now, but I still try to create that honesty, that punk rock honesty in everything, and it's not going to be for everybody. So when you say a hit, it's hard for me to say what a hit is, because some of my favorite artists that I love all their songs for, you'll never hear them on the radio. You ask everybody about them, they never heard of them, but they're making careers and they're out touring and playing every day and, making a good living. That's where I would want to be.
Okay. No, that makes sense to me. And it's very subjective that, 90% of the music I listen to, no one even knows about. So, not even people I hang out with or anybody. I listen to some very crazy shit, and I listen to a lot of stuff that, honestly, I could name and everybody be like, I never even heard of that artist, but I could pick 9-10 songs from them that I think are just genius.
Yeah.
And no one knows anything about them, and they're not famous, they're not doing anything big, but you know what, as you said, it might not mean everything to everyone, but it means everything to someone and to me, so I resonate with that. Now, I guess the second part of that question would be, if you had all the time that you put into writing, into recording, into playing out live, playing at home, playing at church, all of the energy and time and effort that you put into your writing and singing, if you had all that back to put into one other thing, what would it be?
Oh man, I don't think there's anything.
That's it. You're like, I don't want it back because I'm liking this.
Yeah, it made me sad a little bit when you take it all back.
No, I think that's the weighing of a true artist right there, is I don't want to do anything else but what I'm doing. And that just shows how much you have passion and love for what it is you do.
I do. I really do. I've been a carpenter my whole life, and I used to love doing it. I used to love building things and knowing that it's going to be there for, 100 years, and people are going to use this and see it and appreciate it. And it got old. I got old. It's hard to want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day and go out and work in the elements and do that stuff. I would love to have all my time in the world to just write.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great, just to have all the time that you spent working in your life back, just to be able to sit and write your music and your passion? Because think of how much better you'd be too if you had all those hours back. I say that all the time. There's some rappers that I know that are doing very, very good in the underground, but they don't work. So, and I'm like, yeah, they're doing great. I'm like, but they got another 50 hours a week that I don't have. I'm like, and I've already made a damn good name for myself. I'm like, if I had another 50 hours a week every single week, I'm like, I would be unstoppable.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I would have 1 million songs written. And
Now, I think with that being said, we should jump into the last song. We'll come back. I got one other question for you. We'll let you, give your thanks to anybody else out there that you want to thank, where we can check all your stuff out, and we'll go ahead and wrap up for you. But we have one more left. This one's Words. Why don't you give us kind of an interlude into this of what this is about and what it means to you, and then we'll go ahead and drop it.
It's called Words, and like I said before, I love writing. I love words. I love the way the power that words have. I love the way that you can just turn words into music by just speaking them, the way that the syllables flow together, that you can rhyme them, and they're very impressive. But there's so many times where you just don't have the words that you're looking for. You don't know how to explain yourself. You don't know how to describe something to somebody. And then you feel, I do anyway, like a total loss when I don't know how to put into words what I want to say. And that's what this song's about.
Well, let's go ahead and play it, folks. This is Words. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground.
If I can't play my guitar in heaven, then I just don't wanna go. And if she never really loved me, then God, I just don't wanna know. Already hurt so bad right now, I can't take it. So I'm not alright and I'm too tired to fake it. Well, I've been screaming for help, but she can't hear me. 'Cause I let her down, now she won't come near me. I keep remembering things even though I'm not trying. Like my hands in her hair or her eyes after crying. Well, I've been up all night with a tall glass of whiskey, turning thoughts into words and wondering if she'd miss me. But all my words just die on the page as I write them. So I cut out my tongue just to spite them.
Well, you heard it, folks. That was Words by Brian Genovesi. We have spent the last hour and 11 minutes with him. We have listened to 3 of his tracks, that being the last of the 3 for the night. Those all 3 are off his upcoming EP dropping Friday at his show at Howlers in Bloomfield, Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh, off his titled To Whom It May Concern EP. And I ask that every one of you check that out, pick it up, listen to it, support it, tell your friends, and share it around. Make sure you like his Facebook page. Make sure you check him out on YouTube, and just support a great guy and a great artist. Now, we wanted to ask you another question, Brian, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. But I always want to ask artists, if you had to give someone starting out in the scene right now that's struggling a little bit on getting themselves heard, finding their true self, because I know a lot of artists, when they come out, they don't know who they are. They're just trying to figure that out. It takes a little while. But if you had to give advice to someone starting out right now in music, that's struggling, what would you tell them?
Well, first of all, finding your style, that just comes in time. So be patient and just keep doing what you like. If you're doing something that you like and you're not getting a great response from it, don't change to appease other people. Stay true to yourself. And as far as being heard, make yourself heard. Go out and play every show you can. Take every show that comes your way. Won't make money, But, just be ready for that. Just take every show you can get, put your music in everywhere that it'll go.
I think that's some good advice. And another thing I'll add to that, folks, get a good job, because as Brian said, you're not going to get paid for this. So you better have a damn good day job to be able to support you. Because if your dreams are to support yourself off music, I got a rude awakening for you. Unless you're doing something that just happens to be right place at the right time, it's very rare. But if you love getting paid with passion, I use that term all the time, paid with passion. If you are someone that likes that, you will love pushing yourself and seeing what you're capable of. But if you're trying to get paid in money, maybe not so much. But why don't you tell us, Brian, where we can check out all of the upcoming music that's about to drop, all of your other stuff out, what sites and things you're on right now. I know we talked a little bit about that at the beginning, but I'd like to recap on that, and then tell us who it is that you would like to thank.
Well, the best place to hear my music would be to come to a live show. You can get the CD, you can get it at the live shows, you can order it online at ilovesupermonkey.com/Brian Genovesi. You can follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Facebook's probably the best place to, that's where I put everything on Facebook and YouTube. You can subscribe to my channel and get updates when I post new songs. I have over 100 videos on there, originals and covers, so you can check that out. And I really want to thank, Chris from Super Monkey Recording Company for, believing in me and picking me and giving me the opportunity to put this album together. I want to thank Doug at Tonic Studios for just doing a great job with the recording and really helping me out and just being good at what he does. And a real special thanks to my friend Amy, who not only supports me and comes to all the shows, but helps me so much with promotion and everything. She put the whole CD release party together pretty much by herself. Got T-shirts, graphic designers, flyers out, videos, and just all the time that she puts into everything is very much appreciated. And then my friends and family for all their support.
Well, you heard it, folks. That's a great list there, and great artists need great people in their corner to be able to support them. We certainly can't do this all on our own. So behind the scenes, there's always a lot of elements, a lot of different things taking place to keep us going, keep us motivated, keep us out there, and keep us in your, sight and in your pathway to be able to find us and hear us. So thanks to everyone that supports music of any kind. And Brian, as always, it's a pleasure, sir, to talk with you this evening, to pick your brain a little bit. We appreciate you coming on the show, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey, thanks, Skip. And I just want to add in there, we need to have some kind of collaboration at some point. We've been talking about it for years, and it's never really come to fruition.
It does need to happen. Now, it would be very interesting. I would like that. Because obviously I do the rap side, but aside from the rap, I do also sing, or once upon a time sang, and play guitar as well. So, we can definitely maybe mix some minds together and figure out a way to put out something very unique and very different than anything anybody would expect. So I'm definitely down for that. I have a few things to crank out of the way, but I'm actually soon to be free to work on some new things. That's what's great is I always kept myself so stacked with projects that it was like there was never any breathing room. And lately I haven't been putting out a lot of stuff, and people are like, what's going on? I'm like, listen, I'm taking me time. And I'm starting to get back into full swing of things. I have a handful of things to finish up that I wanted to work on. And then I am an open book to work on anything anybody wants to work on. So I might be hitting you up on that because I'm looking for something fun and different to be involved in.
Well, I think it would be both.
I definitely do as well. And before I forget, folks, make sure tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Uninterrupted Underground Music Hour from 8 to 9, 9 to 10:30, in-depth interview topics and discussions with underground horrorcore, hardcore rap legend Insane Poetry here on Uncovering the Underground. Same time, same place, different day. Make sure you check out all past episodes. As I said, all the future episodes. We have some amazing guests next week. On Thursday, we do have Rhode Island MC Rob Trey. The following Wednesday, we have Angelic Desolation, Colorado death metal grindcore band. That Thursday, we have Isolated Beings, and then the last Thursday of the month we have Mantra of Morta from Indiana State. So a lot of really good guests to finish out the rest of this January. We want to thank all of you for your support and love and everything that you do for us here at Uncovering the Underground. Click the like, share button, and follow button. Check us out at teambrutalbusiness.com. Thank you to all of our sponsors. And lastly, once again, Brian, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you, Skip. I appreciate it.
We'll catch you next time.
All right, buddy. Thanks.